Is the Ivy League vigilante Luigi Mangione a hero or a villain?
Shouting to the cameras.
Completely out of touch and insult the intelligence of the American people.
Luigi Mangione entered a Pennsylvania courthouse defiant Tuesday. The 26-year-old Maryland native denied bail and fighting extradition to New York, where he's charged with second-degree murder, accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Mangione's lawyer says he plans to plead not guilty.
I haven't seen any evidence that says that he's the shooter.
Altoona police arrested the suspect Monday after he was spotted at this McDonald's.
One guy said, "That looks like the shooter from New York."
According to investigators, police found Mangione with a 3D printed gun and a silencer, similar to the one used in the shooting, plus a handwritten 3-page note reading in part, "These parasites simply had it coming."
He explained his reasons for doing what he did, which in his mind was precisely to deplore the state of healthcare in the United States.
Mangione had complained about a back injury on social media. Authorities say the extradition process could take up to 30 days.
What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those cash apps to CLBMG. I appreciate you, gang. Listen, I am by no means an authority or an expert on this situation with Luigi Mangione. I am just like the rest of us, trying to fish through a ton of information and come up with a possible solution or motive for what happened to this CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson. This case shocked a lot of us out of nowhere. Some guy was on the streets of New York City being followed by a man in a hoodie who whips out a .22 where it had a silencer and gets off a couple shots. Guy falls down. This guy walks off. Come to find out, this is a major multi-million-dollar CEO, head of a billion-dollar healthcare industry, healthcare corporation, and he was murdered. It didn't make any sense. A lot of us were stunned because if anybody's going to live long lives, it's these CEOs, right? But so I went and I dug up. There's so many rumors and a lot of things going on, and some of the accusations, or not even accusations, some of the theories border on ridiculous, right? But I want to fish through that and just me and you together, we can figure out somewhere in the middle what's going on, because I feel like this is kind of important. Is this guy a hero? Some people are making him out to be a hero. Some of these women are like, oh, they want to be in a relationship with this guy. Some of these women want him free so they can be his wife or what have you. They think that this guy's amazing, right? A lot of people online, as soon as he passed, I was seeing and hearing a lot of things about how this guy was a hero and how what he did deserved to be propped up as the right thing and he should be freed, right? So I'm like, wait, killing a man on the street that has 2 kids and a wife, I believe he has 2 kids and a wife. What did he do? What's wrong with this? What happened? So I was like, I want to know, because I don't know who Brian Thompson is. I didn't know and still don't know who Luigi Mangione is. But the picture is a little bit clearer after he's been arrested. We were like, are they going to catch this guy? It just seemed kind of crazy. He's leaving Monopoly money in the book bag and all this kind of crazy. It just seemed kind of weird, right? He took his mask off and flirted with the girl in the Starbucks. It just kind of, all of it was kind of off. So we were like, what's going on? So they finally caught this guy. I want to read from this and have a discussion, because in a way, I'm just being honest, it's kind of honorable to do things for the greater good. But was this for the greater good? So let me read this. Luigi Mangione has officially been charged with the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The Ivy League graduate was taken into custody by police in Altoona, Pennsylvania on December 9th, 5 days later. So he was an Ivy League student, which means this guy had money and was smart. I believe he was the valedictorian of his high school class, right? I think this kid was like one of the top people in the school that he went to. So let me keep it going. The Ivy League graduate was arrested on Monday in Altoona and charged with possessing an untraceable ghost gun. Mangione plans to plead not guilty to the charges filed against him in Pennsylvania. The Ivy League graduate was arrested on Monday in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and charged with allegedly possessing an untraceable ghost gun. Mangione allegedly plans to plead not guilty to the charges filed against him. Investigators say they found many things that would play into the case, including a fake ID and a device called a Faraday bag, which helped him prevent police from tracing him. You can put your phone in a bag and they can't track it. It doesn't transmit a signal. It blocks it. So basically he had a Faraday bag that you put it in. It's like when you put your phone in those, it was not the same, but if you were to wrap it in aluminum foil or put it in something that was encased in iron or something like that, the signal can't get out. So he had one of those bags on him and they couldn't find it, right? They also said he was careful and complicated. He planned the attack and apparently made the murder weapon and suppressor believed to have been used in the shooting himself. He ordered the receiver, the bottom part of a ghost gun, from an online site and may have had it delivered to his home in San Francisco, then made the rest of the gun with a 3D printer, adding the silencer was homemade as well. So he had a completely printed out gun, ghost gun. The gun came out of thin air. There is no way to trace this gun. That's why I feel like this guy turned himself in. I believe he turned himself in because they never would have caught him. I believe he sat in that McDonald's on purpose because there was no other reason to do it. A lot of things he did to me look like a person who was kind of off their rocker and kind of wanted to get caught, right? Let me continue. Police say they think the motive in part has something to do with an injury he suffered that caused him to visit the emergency room back on July 4th, 2023, which was last year. The officials say that the 2.5-page handwritten document that was recovered in his backpack expressed that he was furious at the healthcare industry. So I myself believe that this guy, he does have rich parents, but I believe he was estranged from them. And I believe he was out on his own doing his own thing. A lot of these younger guys, once they finish college or they do these things, some of them go out and quote unquote take a year off. They find themselves. They just travel, backpack and do things. So I think he was, I heard that he was surfing somewhere and got injured or what have you. I mean, these guys, they're trying to find themselves. So they go out and do all kind of just different things to stay active and just figure things out. And he found what it was in his life that was important to him. It was this healthcare issue. But let me continue. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office said it will seek a governor's warrant to force Mangione's extradition to New York. Dickey said he anticipates that Mangione would also plead not guilty to second-degree murder. Mangione yelled to the press about an insult to the intelligence of the American people as he was physically dragged into the courthouse on Tuesday. When Mangione was arrested on Monday, he had written admissions about the crime with him, according to the New York arrest warrant. Mangione's writings obtained by ABC News were addressed to the feds, and it says as follows. So I have a copy of his manifesto. When he was caught, he had a handwritten manifesto, which is when people write what they did, why they did it, and the mission that they were on when they did it, that they want you to know. They write these things in case they are murdered or in case they are caught and they want to have it fed to the media. This is what he wrote. Quote, "To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone." A lot of people think that this was a paid hit by certain political people because they were about to get testified against. I absolutely 100% feel like it has nothing to do with that. No Nancy Pelosi, none of that. I think that's really goofy. And people that always think politics all day, they think everything relates to politics. Oh, they didn't pick up the trash today. Oh, that's Nancy Pelosi. Everything is not politics, gang. To me, this is a lone wolf. He's pissed off at the United States of America's healthcare system, and he knew exactly where to go to target it to get that conversation going. But let me continue. This was fairly trivial. Some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, and a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. He's telling them, look, my stuff is what I do. I'm good at this. I'm smart. You're not going to get mad info from what I'm doing. I'm an engineer. I didn't get a lot of help. I did this myself. I do apologize, he continues. I do apologize for any strife of traumas, but it had to be done. That's an admission of guilt. He apologizes for any strife of traumas, but it had to be done. What had to be done? Luigi? What had to be done? What are you talking about? That is an admission of guilt. He's saying, I'm sorry to his family and to the people who are traumatized by this, but it had to be done. Let me continue. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly number 42 in life expectancy. That is a fact. These people make billions off of us. I am the biggest proponent for free healthcare. People laugh at me. I used to work in the healthcare industry, and I worked in a mental health hospital. And my boss, one of my supervisors, we used to have a conversation of why it can't be free healthcare. And he said, Challz, there will never be free healthcare. This is back before, I think before Obama. This was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Bush was in, and he was like, there would never be free healthcare. There's too many moving pieces. It would never happen. I was like, no, they're going to make it. They're working on it. They're going to make. No, he said, listen, it would never happen. And he was right. They did everything they can to stop. They stopped Hillary. They stopped Obama. I'm not making this political. I'm just telling you, Canada has free healthcare. Many other places have free healthcare. I walk in the hospital, before they touch me, they want to see my healthcare. It is insane to me that we are the richest country in the world. To me, I don't know, maybe Dubai has more money than we're one of the richest countries in the world, and we got to sit here and have an insurance card and pay insurance every single month and get it taken out of our check, or they're not going to touch us. But let me continue. And he has a point. This guy is making a point. Let me continue. United is the largest company in the U.S. by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, and Walmart. It has grown and grown, but as our life expectancy, no. The reality is these, I'm thinking he's going to say parasites, have simply gotten too powerful, and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have space, and frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument. But many have illuminated the corruption and greed decades ago, and problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly power games at play. Evidently, I am the first to face it with such brutal honesty. That is a fact. I believe he is the first to walk up behind a CEO in the dark, which was still dark when he did it, according to the footage, and shoot him in the back of the head, right? A lot of people think that this guy was a paid assassin, but I watched a very interesting video where they broke down how there's no way he was a professional, even though he knew how to handle the gun, because when it jammed, he hit it, bang, and then he kept shooting. But they were like, he aimed it too high. That's why it went down and shot the guy in the leg on the first shot. And then the second shot, he was too far away. He should have walked right up on him, put him in the base of the skull if he was going to do it, because the guy could have lived. So if he's a paid assassin, he would have never risked this guy living. So the theory of him being a paid assassin when he's more than 10 feet away trying to take a shot with a 22 with a silencer on it, that's not what a paid assassin would do, is what they were saying. And I believe that. I believe that this guy is a kid, frustrated. He waited for this guy for hours. He knew who he was. He decided what he was going to do. Now, is he a hero for that? We have a twisted society now where I think we got like a Bane construct. Like Bane from Batman. Even though Bane was the quote-unquote villain, a lot of people love Bane. A lot of people love the Joker, right? A lot of people love, what's my guy from freaking Black Panther, right? We identify with the villain, and they call him a villain because of what he does to achieve his goal. But the message is right there, right? The message is what it is, and this guy had a message. Yes, his means was brutal, but guess what they're going to start talking about? The healthcare problems. Rest in peace to Brian Thompson, right? Rest in peace to him, and we wish the best for his family. It's awful, and I would never wish this on nobody. I'm not going to call this guy a hero. I'm just going to be honest. To shoot a man in the head in the dark is not a hero. I'm just going to be honest with you. But the bigger issue is what we're talking about. There's a lot of people who got denied, a lot of people who can't get healthcare right now, a lot of people who walk in there right now, they're going to get turned away. A lot of people in trash old folks' home who are getting awful treatment, right? And I feel like the last place on earth you should be getting awful treatment is old folks' home. But they're treating them the worst. These are people who've done 70, 80, 90 years in this country, serving and working and doing all kinds of things, and then they won't even change these people's bedpan. They won't even take these people to the bathroom. Stuffing pills in their mouth, right? Screaming at them. Slapping them, hitting them. So it is an awful situation. They're getting paid barely minimum to do this stuff. Let me continue, because there's more to the story. Now, you might say, okay, Challz, I heard that his family is rich. They are rich. And they gave a lot of money to the healthcare system, which is, it's a conundrum because they made a lot of money off of healthcare and they donated a lot of money to healthcare. His grandparents, his parents, they have a wing in the hospital named after them, his parents, right? So there's a lot to unpack with this. But when you see stuff firsthand, maybe you see all the cracks in it. And maybe you resent that you got all of these nice things and you went to all of these schools and you did all this stuff. Meanwhile, it was on the backs of people that was suffering. And then when he got this so-called accident, maybe he was estranged from his parents when he got into that surfing accident where he had to go to the hospital and they put screws in his leg or wherever he got him, a shoulder, wherever it was. And he didn't get the care that he thought he expected. And I also heard that he volunteered in some places where he saw some things that didn't sit well with him. So let me read who his parents were. So it claims that his mom and dad, they say that they don't have his mom and dad's name at the time. And this particular article, I'm sure, is out there. But according to this article, they didn't have it, but they do know that they own a resort and a club. His parents' names are unclear at the time of publication. However, multiple outlets reported that they own the Turf Valley Resort and the Hayes Country Club, which are both located in Maryland. The Hayfields Country Club website indicates that the venue is a family-owned private country club overlooking the spectacular views of Oregon Ridge and Hunt Valley, Maryland. These are expensive properties, gang. They make a lot of money. The club offers members exclusive access to an elite golf course, practice facilities, recreational activities, and casual dining. The Mangiones also have a foundation called the Mangione Family Foundation, which has supported organizations such as the Kennedy Krieger Institute, St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and the University of Maryland, St. Joseph Medical Center. So that's most of that, what I just read to you, is medical-based, healthcare-based, and they've donated to all of it. They also have put him through school, which says he attended the prestigious private Gilman School in Maryland, which has a yearly $37,000 tuition for the high school students. That's $37,000 a year just for your kid to go there. And then it said it's unclear if he paid for tuition at UPenn, but the Ivy League school is known for its high costs. According to the website, the yearly tuition is around $60,000. So basically, it's raining out there. It sounds crazy, but you're talking $60,000 a year for college. This kid was not hurting in any kind of way for money, but somehow, some way, he became very disenfranchised with richness, people getting a lot of money to do what his parents were actually doing themselves and becoming wealthy from his grandparents as well. Now, with that being said, we can't pin the whole healthcare crisis on one man. But I do want to talk about who was Brian Thompson. Before we decided this guy, Luigi, Mario, it's to be Luigi, right? Before we decide that Luigi's a hero, let's talk about the guy that he killed, right? Brian Thompson was 50 years old. The CEO of United Healthcare was shot to death on December 4th outside the New York Hilton Midtown in Manhattan. I believe I've been to that exact hotel. I believe I stayed in that exact hotel, to be honest with you. Thompson was named CEO of United Healthcare, the United Health Group's insurance arm, in April 2021. He first joined United Health Group in 2004 and had previously served as CEO of the company's government programs, including Medicare and retiree coverage, and community and state programs providing Medicaid and other types of coverage to millions of individuals. So this guy was in charge of big programs that went out to millions of people. He did have a lot of say-so in what happened and what didn't happen. And that's where a lot of people are pointing at that he was the problem. But let me continue. In his most recent role as CEO of United Healthcare, he was responsible, for a top executive at a $562 billion company that affects how millions of Americans get health care. Thompson kept a relatively low profile. At an investor meeting last year, he outlined United Health's shift to value-based care, paying doctors and other caregivers to keep patients healthy rather than focusing on treatment when they get sick. That is noble. He's trying to make it where, and I'm sure it's got something to do with the cost. If you get more people healthy, you're going to have less people making claims. But that's noble. He wanted to have doctors starting to treat you, teach you how to be healthy and keep you healthy before you get sick. It's called preventative care. He was an advocate for preventative care. That is noble. Let's just be honest, that's noble. Let me keep this moving. Quote, healthcare should be easier for people. We are cognizant of the challenges, but navigating a future through value-based care unlocks a situation where the family doesn't have to make the decisions on their own. In 2023, Thompson earned a total compensation of $10.2 million, according to a disclosure by United Health Group. So he made $10 million last year, which means he probably made that every year. You're not a bad person because you make $10 million for your salary. But if you're making decisions and you're making pretty much all of the moves that make it harder for individuals to get coverage, that needs to be addressed. Now, I don't know if you shoot him in the head. I don't know his degree of what he was able to do. Sometimes CEOs are figureheads. Sometimes the board members are really in control, and they say what we can do and what can't do, because it sounds like they were making a lot of money. They're not. I don't know any of these boards that are going to try to do. They're going to implement changes that's going to lose money. So he could have been a pawn in the game and just had to do what he had to do, or he get replaced, because CEOs get replaced, boards don't, right? So it sounded like he was trying to do things that would encourage preventative health care, but I don't know enough about this man. So all I can do is say, first of all, rest in peace again to this guy. And like I said, you can't put all of the healthcare issues on this one man. Now, sometimes people are sacrificed, and I believe this kid, although he had no right, felt he needed one figurehead. I don't think in his mind he felt this man's life equated to all of the other millions that he thought he was going to. And he says it himself, he wasn't going to save anybody, but he was just getting the conversation out. So at this point, you did a vigilante move to actually call, you called attention to it, but this guy lost his life. I need more information about this guy to say, okay, he deserved it. Like some of these people are online, they're making it like he deserved this, good riddance. I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall, so I don't have enough info to say he deserved it. And it's really hard to come to the conclusion that a CEO of a company, yes, they're greedy, they're trash. Look at Martin Shkreli, who raised up the AIDS medication by like 600%, right? He's trash, he went to jail, right? End of the day, we don't have enough information. Me, I don't personally. Now maybe you do. I've been soaking up a lot of stuff, and we still don't have an actual culprit. There is no culprit. It's been years of this. It's a lot of moving pieces, boosters and things like that to keep this nation very unfree with healthcare and very unfair. Once we start to address that, that's going to be up to the lawmakers and politicians, right? To start to lean this thing toward more affordable, more just warranted for the things that we need to pay for, so we're not getting jerked up and jacked around by these hospitals and these insurance companies. This is a lot going on. It's a bigger issue than I can solve in one day. But what I do want to say is I can't call a man a hero for going and shooting someone in the back of the head on a street in New York City. I just can't do it. You tell me what you think. I don't know if he's a hero or villain to everyone, but I know a lot of you sure do think he is. They had a lookalike contest in New York. Guys coming out there trying to look like him, dress like him. It is kind of weird to me, but let me know what you think in the comments. All right, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side. Head on over to CLBMG. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.